We are going to start by opening up our cereal box. Locate the skinny side of your cereal box. Find the end that has the overlapping cardboard where it was glued together. Right here is mine. Then I'm just going to flatten that out and I'm going to run my finger from either end of the cereal box to open and separate those two pieces of cardboard there. Some cereal boxes are easier than others. Just be careful not to rip the big open section. Leave it open and flat for the next step. Start by locating your template. We need the one that has a letter C on it. This is provided for you in the center box on your table. We need to get two pieces out of this. So make sure to line it up in the middle section on one side and then in the middle section on the other. Do your best not to put this on a fold. Some cereal boxes, it's unavoidable because they're smaller. Just do the best that you can. Make sure to use your extra hand to hold that piece still while you trace around on all four sides. Then move that over to the other side and trace it for a second time. Make sure to hold it still. Once you've traced both of them on there, write your name in the very center of them. We need them to be in the center because as we start wrapping paper around it later, we might not see your name if it's on the edge. I want your name, class period, and the number you are in my class. Now, using your scissors, we are going to carefully cut out your covers, okay? The first cut you want to make is following this right side of one of your templates. This is going to separate the two and make it easier to cut everything else out. Go ahead and cut all the way through, separating it into two different pieces. It is important that when you are cutting, that you are making sure to follow your line exactly. Okay, I gave you a template so everybody had the same size. If your cutting is wonky, you're going to have a wonky sketchbook. So make sure to be very careful and cut your sketchbook. Notice that now I'm going to cut this all the way off. So now it's separated. Now I'm working on one of them and I'm just going around and cutting each piece off separately. So that way it's not in my way and I'm not messing with extra pieces hanging on. All right, I'm now moving my two pieces of cardboard over to the side so they're out of my way. I now have my two cover sheets of paper. One of them is set to the side. I'm focusing on one at a time. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to locate my straight edge from that center box on my table. Okay, it is important that our straight edge is 1 inch wide. I have made yours exactly that width, so make sure you use the correct one. When you are using a straight edge, make sure you are lining up the edge of the straight edge with the edge of your paper. Otherwise, your measurements will not be correct. So I'm going to slide this over all the way to the edge of that paper. My extra hand is going to hold it still. I'm going to use my pencil and I'm going to press it up against that straight edge so I can draw a straight line from the top to the bottom of my paper. This should be the same width as your straight edge. Go ahead and do that. Okay, welcome back. Now I'm going to rotate my paper one time. Rotate it only once. I'm going to repeat that step. I'm going to line up the straight edge on the edge of my paper. Extra hand holds it still. And then I'm going to trace it from the top to the bottom. So my paper looks like this. Go ahead and do the same thing to your second piece of paper. All right, now that we've done that to both papers, here's the next step. Now I'm going to take one of my pieces of cardboard and I'm going to line this up with those 2 lines I just drew. Make sure to get it as close as possible. This is important for the folding step at the end. My extra hand's going to hold it still. I'm going to trace on the right side and I'm going to trace on the bottom, the 2 sides that did not have any lines to begin with. When I remove it, this is what it looks like. Go ahead and do that to your second piece. All right, as you can see, we need every corner to look like this, where we have a square in it. These do not, because the lines are not going all the way down. It's an easy fix. We're going to use our straight edge. I'm going to line it up on that line. Then I'm just going to trace the line all the way to the top, all the way to the bottom. Okay, that one is done. I need to also do it down here to my bottom line. Hold it still. Make sure it's lined up correctly and trace it. Go ahead and do that to both of your pieces of paper. Okay, we're going to do a step that will help us later. In each corner of this rectangle, we're going to color in a little triangle. So in this corner here, I'm just going to color in a small triangle. Then in this one, a very small triangle. In this one, a very small triangle. Do that to both papers. Okay. Now I'm going to zoom in so you can see really close what I'm looking at. This step is going to take a little bit of imagination. Okay. You're going to imagine that there is a line from this corner to this corner. Imaginary line. On that imaginary line, you're going to put a dot that is close to this triangle. Here's my imaginary line. I'm going to put a dot close to that triangle. Watch one more time. Here's my imaginary line. I'm going to put a dot close to that triangle. You're going to go ahead and you're going to do that to all 4 corners on both pieces of paper. All right. Now, those dots you just drew, zoom in just a tiny bit for you. We are going to use our straight edge. And I'm going to put my straight edge on that dot. We want to create about the same size triangle that we colored out here. Okay, so I'm going to make sure it is rotated correctly. That way we have an equilateral triangle. And then I'm going to trace that straight edge and put a line through that dot. Watch one more time. I'm going to use my straight edge. I'm going to put it on that dot. Make sure it's angled correctly, that I have an equilateral triangle. It is opposite of this dark one. And I'm going to trace a straight line. Okay. Go ahead and do that to all 4 corners. And you are also going to do that to your second piece of paper as well. All right, now we're going to use our scissors, and on the line that we just drew, the one that is going through the dot, you are going to carefully cut off that line. Only cut off the lines that are going through the dot. Don't cut the wrong one or you're gonna have a big problem. Okay, all 4 corners, cut off, and on your second one, this is what they should look like when you are finished. Okay, now we need to do some folding before we can glue. You're going to grab your your cardboard cover. You're going to line that up on the inside rectangle that we drew, okay? And we are going to fold these flaps over, but the order is important, okay? This is going to be the first one. This is going to be the second one. This is going to be the third, and this is going to be fourth. It has to go in that order, otherwise the folds are not going to be correct, okay? So my extra hand is going to hold these still really, really well. Make sure it does not move. I'm going to grab this first tab, and I'm going to make sure I am pulling it over and I am folding it tight against that edge, okay? If it is not folded tight, you're going to end up with rips later on throughout the year. Make sure you get that crease really well, especially here on this outside edge. That will be important later. Then I'm going to open it back up. I'm going to do the same thing to the second one. Fold it over really tight against that edge. Make sure to crease it. Open it back up. Then I'm going to do the third one, the side. Fold it over really, really tight, making sure nothing is moving when you're doing this. Crease the corners. Open it. Notice my hand is always holding it really, really tight. Fold it over. Crease it. Crease it. Okay? Go ahead and do that to your second one as well. All right, let's talk about liquid glue for a moment. Remember from elementary school, the saying dot dot, not a lot. That is extremely important. If you use too much of this liquid glue, one, you're going to have a mess, but then secondly, it's not going to stick as well. Too much glue will not stick, okay? We need to use very, very little. So let's look at how we open our glue bottles. We all know this orange part twists, right? You're going to want to twist just a little bit at a time and check it. If it's not coming out, do a little bit more twist and check it. You're going to keep doing this until eventually you get just a tiny bit of glue coming out. If too much is coming out, close it a little bit, okay? You want just a teeny tiny bit. All right, now let's begin actually gluing our piece. Pick up your cardboard, flip it over, put a little dot of glue, one in each corner. Then I'm going to line it up in that rectangle one more time. And I'm going to hold it down in the corners with my arms and hands for just a few moments. All right, now that you've got your cardboard glued down a little bit, we're going to start with the first flap. You're going to put a skinny little like hairline glue. It is no bigger than one strand of hair all the way around the edges of that first flap. Make sure to put glue in each corner so those stick as well. Using your extra hand, hold it still because it's not fully dry. And we're going to fold it over nice and tight and then spread your fingers out and hold that for a few seconds as well. Okay, now that we've done the first one, we're going to move down to the second one. Do the same thing. Tiny, tiny bit of glue, the very skinny, tiny line, putting glue one in each corner. Hold it still, fold it over, and hold it down for a few seconds. All right, here's where that folding comes in important, okay? We're going to put glue on this third tab, okay? But make sure you put glue right here on the edge where that paper is going to fold over. Hold it still. I'm going to rotate just so I can hold it easier. Fold it and hold it still for a few more seconds. Okay, then we're going to do that fourth side. Same thing, just a little bit of glue. Make sure you put a little bit on each of those ends. Fold it over and hold it once again. All right, go ahead and repeat that process with your second one. Remember, top, bottom, and then your sides. Okay, now we're going to take our two colored pieces of paper and we're going to glue those in the center of each cardboard. Make sure you are covering the cereal box. This outside will be where we draw later. Okay, I'm simply just going to put a little bit of glue on all four edges. And then I'm going to make sure I go around those circles. Make sure you get it lined up in the center because those holes are important. Okay, you need to see a little bit of brown all the way around. You may have to hold your hands on it for a little bit, let it dry. Once you feel like that colored piece of paper is stuck and not coming up, go ahead and start on the second one and glue it down, making sure it's in the very center of your cover. All right, hopefully it has had a chance to dry at this point, or at least a little bit. We are going to use our hole punch that is in the center of your table as well, and we're going to punch the holes out exactly where they are according to our colored paper. Okay, this is going to take a little bit of hand strength because you are going through cardboard, so just be patient and ask for help or ask your neighbor. To do a hole punch, if you've never used one before, you're going to slide the paper between that upper piece and that lower piece, and then this center part here, that little part that's pointing down, you need to line that up correctly. There I go. And then I squeeze really hard. Okay, go ahead and do that to all four holes. Okay, while you are doing that, I will come around and I will place a sticker with your name, number, and class period in the upper left-hand corner, so it's on the front cover. Okay, now we are going to make a tab for in our sketchbook to separate papers. Okay, you need your template that has a D on it. It doesn't matter what it says here as long as it has a D and it has this extra piece on the side. Okay, we're going to trace that onto a piece of cardstock paper. The easiest way is to not put it in the middle. If you put it in the middle, you have to cut all four sides. If you push it over here to the corner and line up the edges, you only have to trace and cut two sides. So one hand's going to hold it still. I'm going to carefully trace around these two sides, just like that. Whoops, I forgot one step. Let me put it back. You also want to trace the two circles that we're going to punch out later. Okay, go ahead and do that. Once you have done that, we're now going to carefully take our scissors and we're going to make sure to follow those lines exactly, making sure our blade is lining up with the line, and cut out our tab paper. Make sure that you do not cut off the tab. That is the whole point of this. Carefully cut that out by rotating and turning your scissors. Just like so. Once it is cut out, use that hole punch and punch out those holes that you traced. On the tab, I'm going to turn it sideways and I'm going to write warm-ups. I'm going to write it on the front, then I will flip it over on the back and write warm-ups one more time. That way I can quickly find it, no matter if I'm at the front or the back. There you go. Go ahead and take the time to write yours. All right, make sure you've gathered all of your materials. We need our 2 covers, we need our tab paper, and then you also need those 10 pieces of paper that you gathered and I punched holes in for you. We're going to put this together using our binder rings. So I'm going to move some of this stuff to the side so it's not all in my way. Okay? These are our covers. The one with your sticker on it, put that to the side. We're going to work backwards. So this is our back one. I brought you around your rings. Okay? To open your rings, you have to pull them opposite. So this side, I'm going to push away from me. This side, I'm going to pull towards me. Okay? Just like that, it should be really easy. Don't force it. Don't break it. Okay? If you need help, ask the person next to you for help. All right, now that you have your binder rings open, I'm going to start by leaving this on the table and I'm going to put those rings through the back cover. Be careful not to lift it up so they don't fall out. Leave it there just like that. Now we're going to take the first 5 pages. We're going to put those on the ring. Then you're going to find your tab. You're going to put that on the ring. Then you're going to grab your other 5 pages, add those to the ring. Then you're going to add in your practice paper from our tote trays. Add that on your ring. And then finally, we're going to add our cover paper. So we want it to be closed right now. So you're going to see the brown paper side. Add that to your ring. Once all those papers are on, you just simply push your rings closed. So once more, when you open it up, you should see your sketchbook practice. We can flip to the warm-ups tab, and this is where we will begin our warm-ups.